It used to be the social network everyone loved, but somewhere along the way, the community turned into a ghost town. Facebook was where you caught up with friends. Now it is endless mobile game ads, strangers' baby photos, and your grandma reposting a crying gorilla begging for money. So what happened? Did the algorithm kill the connection? Did users just move on? Or is Facebook's problem deeper than anyone expected? We're digging into the collapse of a tech empire on today's episode of The Infographics Show, Why Facebook is Failing. Everyone knows the story. After all, it even had an Oscar-winning movie made about it. Mark Zuckerberg co-created Facebook with his roommates in 2004 during his time at Harvard. It quickly took off, and one by one, Zuckerberg pushed out his co-creators and took control of what would become the biggest social media platform in the world. It wasn't the first social media site. Remember MySpace? But it was the first one that appealed to all ages and became a truly global phenomenon. And for a while, it was the place to be. Facebook was the first social media platform that felt effortless, and that simplicity helped it explode. You could build your own page, post some photos, show off your cat, and suddenly connect with hundreds of people, even if most of them just hit like and then scrolled on. But it was addictive. You weren't just sharing updates, you were part of something. You could join communities, you could play games, or if you were feeling spicy, dive into trending topics and argue politics with total strangers. And it was all thanks to one little factor, and it would become Facebook's secret weapon. In the past, most social sites were either fairly solitary sites like MySpace, or message boards where everyone posted on the same platform and were all on the same level. But Facebook added something called a social media algorithm. The software was built into the website and tracked your activity. It saw what you were reacting to, and it gave you more of it. Your front page on Facebook would be a combination of what you subscribed to and what the site thought that you would like. That way, you could find new communities and friends and expand your reach on the site. At least, that's how it was supposed to work. Facebook took off like wildfire, and it was the most wildly successful social media site in history. Zuckerberg became the youngest self-made billionaire in history, and soon it seemed like everyone had Facebook. You were suddenly back in touch with your high school classmates. Even older people were getting in on it. You gotta admit, Grandma's meme game wasn't too bad. And it wouldn't be long before its reach expanded beyond one site. When Facebook went mobile, it suddenly became easier to access your favorite addiction everywhere you went. It was soon the most downloaded mobile app in the world, and it would soon be joined by Messenger. Originally called Facebook Chat, it was the direct message service that was bundled in with Facebook. And it made it easier to talk smack about one of your Facebook friends without them seeing it. While Messenger could be downloaded as a separate app, most people just used it on the site. But that wouldn't be the case for its future editions. Facebook didn't build most of its big successes, it bought them. Why put in the effort when you could simply buy someone else's idea? That was the case for Instagram. What started as a simple photo sharing app quickly became one of the most popular platforms on the internet. It's become a hotspot for artists and influencers thanks to its easy-to-understand posting system for photos and short-form videos. It was launched in 2010 and snapped up by Facebook only 2 years later for $1 billion in cash and stock. And it's grown exponentially since then. And this next edition only boosted Facebook's global reach. But first, have you ever had a $1 million app idea but no clue how to actually build it? Maybe you're a founder who can't code, a designer who's tired of waiting on developers, or a PM with a killer concept stuck in wireframe limbo. Whatever your background, we all hit the same wall. Development takes time, money, and access to tech talent that most of us just don't have. That's exactly why I started using Lovable. Lovable is Europe's fastest growing AI tool that helps anyone build full-stack software without writing a single line of code. You just describe what you need. I want a dashboard. I need a landing page. Build me a budget tracker. And Lovable turns that into a working app. Seriously, it's that simple. I used Lovable to build my MVP in minutes, not weeks, not thousands of dollars later. Just me, an idea, and Lovable. It doesn't matter if you've never touched back-end code or heard of Supabase. Lovable does the heavy lifting. Want to integrate payments with Stripe? Add a database? Test an idea? It's all built in. Now, if you're super early and haven't used Lovable much yet, it might take a few tries to get it right, but stick with it and you'll be building like a pro. Even the most non-technical people I know have started creating some seriously complex stuff with it. So if you're tired of waiting, tired of spending, or just ready to launch, ask Lovable. Start building today and finally bring your ideas to life. Click the link in the description or pinned comment to get started. The faster you build, the faster you win. One of the biggest elements of social media is that it is replacing old forms of communication, including phone calls. WhatsApp tried to step into the void, creating a new app that could handle both text and phone calls, allowing people to make phone calls around the world without long-distance charges. This was a godsend for those with family in foreign countries and for those teenagers with girlfriends in Canada. It was snapped up by Facebook in 2014, and it's become an integral part of the company's portfolio. And it knows when an opportunity presents itself. For years, Twitter was the only name in the microblogging game, but under new ownership, it's become unpredictable. Controversies pile up, features are broken, and even the platform's rebrands to X left longtime users confused. Not to mention its AI assistant, which occasionally calls itself Mecha Hitler. Sensing an opening, Facebook made its move. In 2023, it launched Threads. While it struggled to gain an audience at the outset, it has been steadily growing ever since, and it's become a major hub in social media. And all these additions have led to a new name. Today, you won't find Facebook on the Fortune 500. Instead, you'll find a company named Meta Platforms. Based in Menlo Park, California, it's considered one of the big 5 American tech companies, alongside Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and Google, which also got a rebrand to Alphabet. It went public in 2012 and it's been thriving for well over a decade. As of July 2025, it's trading at around $7.20 a share, and Mark Zuckerberg is still at the helm, holding court as one of the most powerful people in Silicon Valley. So why does everyone seem to think it might be on its last legs? For anyone who remembers Blockbuster or Kmart, there are usually a lot of telltale signs for when a company is about to die. Those really aren't here for Facebook. It is busy. Incredibly so, with over 3 billion accounts. Facebook is still the largest social media site in the world. Of course, many of those accounts aren't active. Some people signed up and then just forgot about it, while others have since passed away. Facebook even has a feature to allow loved ones to turn a deceased person's page into a memorial. But when you log in, you're gonna have a torrent of activity waiting for you. But that may be part of the problem. If you ask many users, Facebook's algorithm is out of control. You log into the front page and you barely even see anything you are actually subscribing to. The majority of posts are recommended by the algorithm, a combination of rage-inducing political posts, meme pages, and ads for games that you have never played. And that means that if you want to know what your friends are up to, you'll probably have to search for them and then go to their actual page, which is time-consuming, and it also defeats the purpose of having a front page. And some of the content might not even be real. AI has been on everyone's mind these days, from Twitter's AI Grok having an interesting personality to Google's Gemini occasionally spitting out garbled entries, but maybe no site has been more affected by the AI boom than Facebook. The site has been infamous for pages seeking engagement with obviously AI-generated images. They're often very repetitive, like an old lady celebrating her 100th birthday in a hospital, or a soldier in a wheelchair saying, "Nobody loves him because he's poor." And the majority are not just AI-generated images, but auto-posted, and they often include identical text with nonsense words like "beautiful cabin crew," regardless of the content of the image. But regardless of how obvious the fake is, some people will fall for it. You'll always find a bunch of people wishing that same old lady a happy birthday. So why is Facebook so much more vulnerable to this? Facebook skews much older than your average social media site. It's a great place to post grandkid pictures, and Grandpa finally has a place to make everyone listen to his opinions. Additionally, it's believed that many of the newer accounts are bots themselves, meaning that you might have robots responding to robots in an endless loop. But ultimately, there is a reason that AI scammers are spending so much more on Facebook than they are on any other site, and it all has to do with the site's Achilles heel. How do social media sites make their money? It varies. Some sites like Twitter have subscription modes that allow people to unlock special features for a few bucks a month. Facebook doesn't have that, and as such, its revenue comes from almost entirely one source: advertising. Over 97% of money coming into Meta businesses comes from ads, and pretty much everyone can start an ad campaign there. You might see a campaign from a major new movie or a new food brand, or you might see what some random person paid for. And that allows for some disturbing exploitation. We've all fallen for it. You're scrolling on Facebook, and an ad pops up for a game that looks amazing. A noble knight, epic battles, a princess in peril. You tap play, ready for adventure, and suddenly you're matching fruit. It turns out these bait-and-switch games are everywhere, and they are big business. Most are made by small developers who pay Facebook for targeted ads, luring in the users with epic trailers. only to deliver another Match 3 money pit. And that is just the start of the bizarre ads you'll see on Facebook's front page. And eventually, it takes a toll in trust. While Facebook is still a social media powerhouse, it's become less and less of a hub for people to spend time. Now it's a place for people to check occasionally for updates. This is partly due to the algorithm making it more difficult to navigate, and partially due to people not liking what they see on the front page. The heavy reliance on advertising makes the front page a frustrating experience to navigate. With loud ads playing every other post, and with no backup for its revenue stream, the company's best days might be behind it, especially when you consider the competition. As new social media sites burst onto the scene, it becomes trickier and trickier to maintain a grip on people's attention. Facebook still reportedly has well over 1 billion active users, but it's losing its momentum as people start to wonder if it's the best platform for them. This has been especially pronounced for small businesses. A Facebook page used to be one of the best places to advertise your product, both with paid campaigns and a free Facebook page where you could post updates and photos. But more and more, it's starting to look like a losing proposition. Facebook is losing businesses fast, and it's largely the company's doing. Its algorithm is so aggressive that it's estimated that less than 5% of people who like a page will see its updates on their front page. To increase those odds, you've got to shell out money for an ad campaign, and those prices can add up quickly per month. The algorithm favors brands that pay more, and that means that small businesses can easily get washed away. And what's more, the algorithm is constantly getting updated, meaning that what works one month might not work the next. And other sites seem to be more hospitable by the day. That includes Meta's own Instagram, which also has a front page algorithm, but its visual-friendly format makes it easier for restaurants and influencers to succeed. And for those who prefer a more information-heavy approach, both X and its new rival Blue Sky are ideal for text-based posts. But they also offer a feature to only see the content you've subscribed to, in chronological order. And for those who have a brand that skews young and more offbeat, there's always Tumblr, the highly anonymous oddball site with a fan base that knows how to make things go viral in a hurry. And increasingly, it seems like the Facebook algorithm doesn't want us to get along. The algorithm always used to try to match us with things, even if it didn't do such a great job of it. But in recent years, a new type of content is entering the fray, and it's becoming overwhelming. This is political posting, and many users have reported logging on and being confronted with aggressive political posts that are the opposite of the kind of content they want. So naturally, they respond by telling off the poster. And then the algorithm reads that as them being more interested in it, so they're buried with similar content. And that's led to many people saying they are disengaging from the site. But would you believe that it got them hauled in front of the US Congress? If there is one reason Facebook's fortunes have been changing, it can be summed up as trust. Trust is a social media company's biggest asset because if people don't feel like the company is being honest with them, they will quickly dip out of the site. And that's what's happening to the site formerly known as X. Countless high-profile accounts are fleeing for other sites amid many controversies, although it maintains many of its top brands and influencers because they agree with the direction it's taking. This transition is upfront and people can make their own decisions. The problem for Facebook is that it's all under cloak and dagger. There's an old saying, if you're getting something for free, that means that you are the product. Facebook's bread and butter is user interaction, and it's collecting data off those interactions and using it to power its algorithm and refine it to advertise more effectively. But that data doesn't get filtered by Mark Zuckerberg directly. It goes to third-party companies, and they make the analyses and then send them back to the corporate bosses. But that doesn't mean that every one of those companies can be trusted to safeguard the data. And that has led to the biggest controversy in Facebook's history. It was 2016 and Democrats were reeling from a post-election defeat. They were determined to make sure that this never happened again, and they were looking for someone to hold accountable. And one of the parties that took the most heat was Facebook. The investigators took a closer look at the way the company did business, and they found out that its algorithm might have been used for nefarious purposes, to stir up heated emotions and spread misinformation during the election. And the culprit may not have been domestic. Facebook is an international mega corporation and anyone can post on it, which is why you keep having that one Eastern European guy on your posts trying to get you to invest in his small business. But it turns out that some heavier hands are there as well, including the government of Russia. It was well known that Vladimir Putin had a vested interest in the 2016 election and its outcome. So to try to boost that goal, He apparently deployed an army of internet trolls to spread false information and swing people's votes, and Facebook accidentally handed him exactly what he wanted. One of the firms Facebook used for data analysis, Cambridge Analytica, used the data to conduct analysis of the political allegiances of Facebook users and how it was likely to influence the election. But the data didn't stay where it was supposed to. It's believed that pro-Russian agents got their hands on key information and used it to tailor its propaganda campaign to those who would be more likely to be taken in by it. Cambridge Analytica claimed that no significant breach took place and denied any collusion with the Russians, but that didn't calm the furor at all. Facebook would ultimately pay a massive fine of $5 billion for the data violations, and Mark Zuckerberg would be called in front of Congress to testify. While he was never implicated directly in any crimes, it permanently damaged his reputation and led to increased calls for stricter laws governing data and social media. And Facebook's image may never completely recover. A big problem for Facebook right now is that a lot of people don't think it's one of the good guys. Facebook is increasingly being lumped in with right-wing affiliated companies in the same way that X is, and that's led many people to delete their accounts or dial back their presence on the site, which means fewer eyes for the ad campaigns that are critical to keep the site up and running long-term. And the more competition, the worse things get. Facebook doesn't just need users, it needs active users. And more are choosing to take their free time elsewhere. In addition to all of Facebook's in-house competitors like Instagram and Threads, there's upstart Bluesky, Tumblr, and one of the most popular sites on the internet, Reddit, which has a lot of fans for its no-frills text-heavy style and specialized subreddits. That is increasingly making Facebook a place where people check notifications and not much else. And the biggest problem Facebook faces might be, well, it's just not that cool anymore. Younger users are spending less time on Facebook. The site was a sensation among teens and college students when it debuted, but it's also become the de facto social media site of old people. The place is also business-heavy, and the advertisements make it difficult to discover anything on the front page. That's led many younger users to either limit their time on the site or make it the first stop in their social media cleanse. And increasingly, people are asking, should kids be on this site at all? Facebook has an age limit of 13 for people to start their own accounts, but increasingly people are saying that that might not be enough. Most notably, Australia passed a law essentially kicking all kids under 16 off social media entirely. This caused a massive stir with young people protesting both in person and online. And even in countries that aren't going that far, many activists are urging parents to keep their kids off. They say that the algorithm and endless scroll features are addictive and especially dangerous to developing brains of kids. And Facebook is one of the top culprits. Facebook's algorithm is infamous for making you navigate through plenty of new content to find the stuff you have actually subscribed to. And opponents say much of the content is misleading, inflammatory, or both. And that means the site's current reputation isn't likely to help it get new fans, or to get parents to let their young kids sign up for it. Additionally, the site's game page is controversial for how many of its games rely heavily on microtransactions, making it easy for unsupervised kids to rack up bills of hundreds of dollars. But despite this, Facebook probably isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. With all the company's PR issues, you might think the stock price is cratering, but it's actually down 28% from its peak price as of 2025. That's due to the company's aggressive expansion over the years. Just like Google, it has its hands in far more than most people know, and it's worth over $2 trillion. That size of a company doesn't just go away, no matter how much bad PR it picks up. It might be the definition of a company that is truly too big to fail, but that doesn't mean that it's going to get easier from here. Because in order to survive long-term, Facebook will have to find a new role in the market. Meta might be going strong, but Facebook is increasingly looking like the weak link in its portfolio. While it serves its purpose as a site for people to keep up with friends and post updates, that's increasingly all people are doing. It's losing the ability to keep people engaged. The company needs to find a way to get people to engage more with its front page, find things on the algorithm, and interact with the company's advertising on the site. And to do that, it'll need to figure out how to get people to stick around for more than just a few minutes each day. Facebook's collapse isn't the only once unstoppable empire shrinking into obscurity. Watch the real reason Subway is failing for a similar recipe for corporate disaster. Or click on this video now.